Well, that's not good. I guess I'll start this one.
Should I mention what I'm drinking or no?
We'll get to that. What's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of The Casual Observers. I am not your host, Jacob, because I don't have glary eyes today. Today, I'm your beautifully blue-eyed host, Jacob. And joining me to my right, short, dark, and handsome, is Josiah Sanders.
I am short. And I'm drinking a berry smoothie.
You don't say that you're dark and handsome, you're just short.
Well, I'm just agreeing with everything, but especially the shortness.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm drinking a berry smoothie. In case you're wondering, I just blended this up in the Magic Bullet knockoff.
We decided that this is his shtick. He's just gonna have something different every episode.
Yeah, so if you're just listening to this episode, then you won't get to enjoy that. But speaking of that, you can download this episode right now, audio only, from SoundCloud. Link in the description if you would like to do that.
And if you're listening on SoundCloud, today is our special New Year's episode, and we're wearing New Year's hats right now.
Yes. But the only way someone would be just listening to this is if they clicked on the video first.
Or if they're subscribed to our SoundCloud. I think you can do that.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we need to talk about that because you can only upload like 3 hours a month. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you told me that,
Okay.
which is great.
Okay, so basically, people can only listen to like...
The older episodes will just have to get out of there, I guess.
Unless you want to pay like $12 a month.
That's a lot of money.
Or like $60 a year, I can't remember.
Well, maybe we'll find some other hosting website.
I think we should.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
As for now, SoundCloud seems good.
All right! This episode is all about witchcraft. Yes, it sounds really cool. It sounds like fun, actually. Like, ooh, witchcraft. Mm-hmm. What is that? What's up with that? I want to try it. Let me try some of that. Let me grab those rune stones.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see my fate. Let me play with those tarot cards.
Those what?
You know, tarot cards.
I don't know what those are.
They're the cards that have the little emblems on them that tell you your fate or whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, cool.
Great episode.
Oh, good job, guys.
Let's pack it up.
See you later.
Another one in the bag.
We're talking about those rune stones or whatever. So what's the question we're trying to answer? We actually didn't figure this out.
Is witchcraft real?
That's a good question.
No.
Yes, it is.
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and we concluded that basically almost anything could be considered witchcraft if you just... It just depends on how broadly you're using the term witchcraft.
Right, which is why I have the definition here so we don't get too crazy here. The definition of witchcraft is the practice of magic, especially black magic, the use of spells, which apparently the definition of spell is speaking words or reading something to make something happen. It's not just like throw stones or whatever and make it happen. A spell is specifically words, apparently. And the invocation of spirits.
What about whenever you gotta say words, but you also have to like put like a chicken foot in like lemon juice and...
I assume that would be a spell. Yeah.
It's a spell too?
Because you're saying the words.
In conjunction though with...
Yeah. I didn't actually even put the definition of spell here because I was like, that's not very interesting. It's just...
Well, so a lot of, like, you know, a lot of Christians, like, they're told to use their faith and to, like, speak in line with what they want.
Right.
Like, faith style. Like,
and they recite verses, too. So they're basically casting spells.
Yeah, so
like,
it
if they
depends
say,
on how...
be healed in the name of Jesus or whatever, and they lay hands on you, they're kind of casting a spell.
Yeah, so are we considering that, too?
I guess we should talk about that, but...
Because I feel like... if you want to define it broadly, because I always associate witchcraft with, like, cults and, like, demonic
That's what most people
stuff.
do. Because it does say the invocation of spirits.
Right, but see, it's not necessitating that they be evil, per se, right?
Right.
Is that correct?
That's where we get into psychics and stuff. Because, psychics... Let's see. I have a thing on this. Many witches, they call themselves witches, apparently. Apparently this is a real thing, and people really do this. And they call themselves witches. They believe in positive energy instead of evil things. A lot of them do not like the witches who claim to worship Satan and do evil things.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you can be a witch, but you don't have to be a Satanist?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what they call it.
Interesting. Man, this is a whole new profession that I might want to get into. I mean, it sounds fun.
I did see, because I was looking into like the spells and stuff that they cast, and apparently people like try out money-making spells, and it works. But, see, that's what I'm saying. See, like, there was this thing, someone said, oh, this money spell worked. Like, I cast it, and then randomly I was walking by this desk, and I saw this change there that definitely wasn't there before. And someone commented on that and said, let's see, where is it? It says, magic is often mistaken for coincidence. And don't laugh, we have to be unbiased here. One of us has to, we have to preach the side of witches too.
No, whenever I hear things that are true, I often smile.
Okay, can we talk about that statement then? Magic is often mistaken for coincidence?
Yes, because, I mean, a lot of, like, new technologies, we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but, like, new technology and stuff was often mistaken for, like, witchcraft, or specifically sold as, like, something spiritual, when in actuality it's just some kind of a, you know what I mean, like electricity. Like, there were a lot of, like, magic shows and stuff at, like, carnivals and stuff where, like, you know, they would make lights or, like, even, like, really crude, like, holograms.
Right.
For, like, ghosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was just kind of sold as, like...
Nowadays, with our technology, we can make, like, really good stuff, huh? Because we have real holograms.
Oh, if we had the technology now with the people from, like, 100 years ago...
Yeah.
We could be, like, worshipped.
Yeah. Let's go back in time, dude, so we can be worshipped.
All
That's what we're talking about, not witchcraft. We're talking about
time travel. That needs to be an episode.
That will be an episode.
Oh gosh, that'd be a great episode.
Go home, do your homework, watch what's that movie? Primer. Go home, do your homework, watch Primer, and time travel will be one of our next episodes.
If you have not seen Primer, I don't know. Then you haven't seen Primer.
It's true. That is a true statement. I cannot argue with that.
See, that's me making the solid arguments.
It is on a certain website that has captains and ships and stuff, though. If you know what I'm referencing.
But
if you
don't pirate it, because piracy is bad. All right.
Yeah, but there is a website that involves captains and ships and stuff.
Honestly, I think it may be free now. I don't know.
Is it?
It may be on YouTube. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well. That's not really relevant.
Yeah. Ooh, piracy. Oh, that's a great episode too.
Okay.
What? You don't...
Let's stay on topic here.
Okay, witchcraft.
Okay.
So we know what witchcraft is.
Sort
is it
of.
bad? Not necessarily, because as we found out, it's not necessarily associated with, like... See, that's the thing. Like, if you believe in Satan, that means you believe in God too, right?
Not necessarily. We would have to do an episode on Satanism to get into that. Because there's a branch of Satanism that,
Is more like, just like humanism?
Define humanism?
Or like hedonism? Like just like self-fulfillment only? Like you believe that, like...
Kind of, but not, like... They believe in a lot of, like, good morals, too. Like, they believe, like, in the general idea of, like, don't treat people like crap and stuff. Like, live your life how you want, but don't treat others like garbage. And that's like a form of Satanism. But...
that doesn't sound that bad.
I know. Hail Satan. But, that wasn't it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm just saying, like, if you actually believe in Satan, like, Satan, like, of the Bible, that means you believe in God. And it's like, okay, if you believe in both of these beings, like, why... Like, Satan is clearly the bad one, right?
I feel like you're getting extremely biased right now, and this is not good.
How so? So explain to me.
First of all, you're specifically talking about the Christian Satan and not just like a
what other Satan is
Dark
there?
Lord or whatever. I mean,
I don't... that, Dark Lord. Why would you call him a Dark Lord if he wasn't somehow different than, like, a not Dark Lord, like just a regular Lord?
Maybe it's... I mean, they can't just, like, trust that the one that they're worshipping is gonna lose in a battle or something. They truly believe it. This is why you're getting, like, way too biased, and we can't talk about this, dude.
I'm just saying, like, if you believe in Satan, like, as defined by the Bible, Because
Which we shouldn't be defining things by the Bible because we're not a Christian podcast.
Well, it's open for discussion, am I right?
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, okay, you believe in Satan from the Bible. Like, is there another form of Satan out there? I'm sure there is, like, other, like...
Hades or something, right?
Yeah, okay. Let's say you just believe in Satan of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean that you believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, it means you believe in the Bible.
But not necessarily. It's like some Christians believe the Bible, but they don't believe all of it, right?
Okay, that's true. So they believe the part about Satan, but they don't believe the part about him being a bad guy and like him being defeated.
Well, maybe they believe that he's a bad guy and they're totally cool with that, but they don't believe how Revelation ends.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I guess, yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Can we get to the actual topic, please?
We
spent 11 minutes on that.
Let's go deeper.
Okay. The definition of magic is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces, like the money thing. Like you cast a spell and then money appears coincidentally, but it's apparent that the money appeared. Okay,
so you could be influencing things that you can't see by doing these spells, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be a coincidence, but let's assume that it is real.
Right.
And you are somehow influencing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Does that necessitate... That doesn't necessarily necessitate anything spiritual. It just could be like universal laws that we just don't understand, right?
Exactly. I have the same statement from the last podcast, which right here says supernatural things such as witchcraft could be explained by laws of the universe that allow certain practices to generate different things, and people could have found out it by recreating random things that they did.
Right, so they know how to work these laws, but we just don't necessarily understand how.
They don't understand how they work or...
why it works.
It could all just be like a lot of mental stuff too.
That was my phone.
Wow, dude, how casual of you. Turn that off.
So casual. AMC Stubbs. Last chance to get $5 bonus bucks.
We're gonna edit this out.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
You specifically said don't edit out anything.
That's true. You got me. He always gets me with that. Okay, Okay, turns out there are a lot of modern day witches. Like, this is an actual thing.
There's a subreddit for it, so that means you know that people are serious about it.
No, it turns out there are a lot of modern day witches who practice a collection of non-traditional religious and spiritual practices, including spiritual healing, shamanism, Wicca, Druidism, and other revivals of pagan traditions. So now I'm going to ask, is witchcraft itself a religion? Can you?
It seems like in order to, well, it depends. Like if you're reviving these rituals and stuff, like we do a lot of things today just as ritual.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't actually, it's not necessarily saying that you believe, like Christmas. Like a lot of people, like atheists celebrate Christmas. It doesn't mean they believe in Jesus or Santa Claus or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of doing it. So, like, I feel like some
you have to believe in Santa Claus to celebrate Christmas.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, like you don't.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is like, I think some of these people might just think it's kind of like a cool thing to do, like Christmas, or maybe something more like a hobby that's more traditional. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna ask about too, because it seems, from what I've been looking into, a lot of these people do it as a hobby, but like...
Do they actually think that are they just kind of, if it works, then it's cool, but if not, then...
No, there's people who there's some people who do it as like an occupation, like psychics and stuff.
Right.
But others are just doing it as like a hobby, and I guess because it's frowned upon in social life, they don't talk about it. But like at home and stuff, you know, they got all
when they're with their witchcrafty friends.
Yeah, you'll see they got their like pentacles around their neck, and they got incense and all the cool stuff.
Rabbit's feet.
I guess that's a thing. They also have a lot of like grinding up different like food ingredients and stuff.
Oh yeah. So the thing is, like the question was, is it necessarily religious? No, but I think I'm sure some people really do feel like they are influencing some kind of supernatural things, and like things that are going on, and they feel like they're somehow influencing those things that they can't see or whatever,
Right.
And so at that point, I think it is kind of a religion.
It itself is a religion when people think that they're influencing stuff around them?
Yeah, like spirit. If it's like if it's any sort of intangible thing, like if they feel like they're somehow like calling money to them, like with that money spell, like that's not something that you could see happening. Which is essentially what a religion is. It's like you believing in something that you can't necessarily see. So if you define religion like that, then yeah, it is kind of religion. You know what I'm saying?
That was going to be the next question is, not just is witchcraft a religion, but rather are religions witchcraft? Because, like with the Christianity thing we're talking about, a lot of the things that we do could very much be considered spells or...
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the religion, which religion you're talking about, but for the most part, yeah, I would say religions pretty much practice witchcraft, depending on, how vaguely you want to define it, but witchcraft isn't necessarily always religious.
Sure. I guess they are still doing, like, spiritual things, though. Well, I guess they're not, because some of them, again, like the psychics aren't necessarily spiritual stuff. They talk about, like, energy and stuff, and how they can feel other people, and,
like their emotional energy?
Yeah. That's something I want to talk about.
What?
Like, okay, many witches believe in positive energy instead of evil things. Many witches refer to energy inside of you and talk about how they feel. Like, I can feel how you're thinking or something.
What am I thinking?
I can't. So.
You can't.
I mean, maybe I'm a witch because I practice Christianity, right?
You've got the hair.
That's... Are we implying that all witches are female? Wow.
No.
Homosexuality episode needs to happen now.
No, I wasn't implying that.
Okay.
Now who's the homophobe?
The homophobe?
Yeah.
The homophobic observers.
There's a podcast I will listen to.
Like talking like, I went to the coffee shop the other day and there was this guy with pants just way too tight and he was all like, excuse me, I need my pumpkin spice. I was just like, no, I'm done.
I told you no accents, man. I said don't do any accents.
Wait, what? When did you say this?
I told you this weeks ago. I said no accents, please.
Why?
Fine, I'm going to have to edit this out.
No, you will not. Now that I said it, you can't edit it out. So here's a statement, and I think you'll probably agree with it, but maybe I'll have to play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Okay.
The witches who are like psychics or talk about positive energy and stuff, to me, I watched several videos on this, and to me, they just seem like motivational speakers. Am I crazy?
Okay, fun fact, my mom
Uh-huh.
listens to several motivational speakers. She has for years.
Right?
Okay, and like, some of these guys really get into like this kind of spiritualism ishness. You know what I mean? Like with energy and like positive stuff and like the universe and like, thinking things to you. There's this movie, it came out in 2006. It's a documentary, if you want to call it that. It's sort of about, it's basically a bunch of motivational speakers, but they're talking about kind of spiritualism. Like, even Oprah like talked about it on her show one time. It's called The Secret. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Oh, well, spoiler alert, The Secret is just positive thinking. But they talk about it in the most, like, like, it sounds religious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I guess technically it's not necessarily religious, but, like, the level of devotion that these people are talking about it, they're talking about it in a religious way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if you're sort of agnostic or kind of atheist or, in that sort of that direction, then that could feel like sort of a non-religious spiritualism to get into. You know what I mean?
You're saying it feels religious, and like the whole time I'm just thinking, preachers do this all the time, though.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
Like Jesus or God or whatever is our hope, and we need to hope on Him, and like even when you're down, think positively. You're thinking positive and thinking how God's gonna get you out of it or whatever, and
the only
have faith when things aren't going correctly, and
the only difference is like they're sort of like are saying that like, oh well, this is what the Bible says to do.
Right.
Whereas the other people are saying, well, this is just a good thing to do.
I don't know. They probably have some of their own religious texts. I did not look into that.
Who?
Witches. I mean, I listed off like spiritual healing, shamanism, Wicca, Druidism, and revivals of pagan. That's like, first of all, Wicca, Druidism, and paganism are like 3 religions in their own. And then there's all kinds of different branches and stuff too. So there's definitely like old texts and stuff on it. I can't imagine that there's not.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, I'm sure there is like old like pagan books and stuff or whatever.
Right.
But they don't have like, it's not like Islam where you got the Quran.
I'm pretty sure it is.
They have like the canon or whatever.
The canon. I mean,
like canon books.
Like, it's a real religion. They must have old religious texts and stuff that they think are just as viable as the Bible or the Quran or whatever.
But what's it called?
I don't know. I didn't look into that. We're not doing an episode on paganism. We're doing an episode on witchcraft. Let's just assume that they do to move forward.
Okay,
because they definitely have to in order for them to be taken seriously.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, like, it seems like one of the appeals of, like, witchcraft and stuff is, like, how sort of vague and general it is. That, like, you can have all these different offshoots, and then, you can sort of appeal to different people depending on what your offshoot, is sort of catering to.
Right.
Like, oh, maybe people don't like the word witchcraft, so, you just call it spiritualism. Or maybe they don't like the word paganism, so you use the word Wiccan or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then you have like different things happening.
That's not how it works, I don't think.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't know if they have like a solid, like, this is the book of witchcraft.
You were supposed to study.
These are all the spells. Well, I'm pretty sure they don't have like one solid one.
Each individual one would have like one solid one.
Like paganism would have like the book of pagans.
Yeah, whatever. And Wicca would have, I don't know the differences between all that, but... Because that gets into, like, weird nature stuff.
Hey, that subreddit, were you looking at, was it called Witchcraft?
Yes.
Okay, so the subreddit Witchcraft has 3,300 subscribers.
Right. It's a pretty solid amount.
Yeah, for a subreddit, I guess. It's not like big traffic.
I mean, like, we don't exactly know witches, like... If I knew someone who was a witch, I would have brought them onto the episode for sure.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Me too.
If you're a witch, contact us and we will do a follow-up episode with you on it.
Yeah, via Skype.
No, we're bringing you here. You can, like, bring your dark magic into Josiah's house.
No.
Okay. We'll have, like, a little hut out in a field, and that's where we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll bring the camera to your... Yeah, you can't do...
Gotta get some, like, goat's blood and stuff.
Yeah, you can't have witchcraft in a house. There's all kinds of different things you gotta have.
You can do it in a house.
You gotta have space. You gotta have things burning. You gotta have...
You can do it in a house. People do it in houses.
You gotta have things splashing on you.
People do...
You need lots of
open space. What kind of witchcraft are you practicing? People do it in houses. Okay, in the modern world, witchcraft is widely regarded as just fantasy. Why is that?
Probably Harry Potter, I would say.
That's the whole reason? Harry Potter?
Well,
who's the person who wrote that? Rowling or something?
J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's responsible for the fantasizing of witchcraft. No, but I mean, I think...
Not Tolkien or anything like that.
Well, yes.
People thought Tolkien was real, so... I'm joking. Continue.
Tolkien is real.
The person was real, yeah. Middle Earth wasn't. Although it does have its own Bible, so maybe. Anyways, continue.
What is the Bible
The
called?
Silmarillion.
Oh, okay.
People consider it Middle Earth's Bible.
Wait a minute. Does Lord of the Rings take place inside of that book?
No, they're separate. The Silmarillion is just a collection of random writings and stuff that Tolkien did about Middle Earth and stuff, and I think it was his son who put them together into a book form.
Oh, so he didn't actually write it to be one book.
I don't think so, no.
Ah, okay. I see.
Anyways.
Yeah, so... Wait, what was the question again?
Why in the modern world is witchcraft widely regarded as just fantasy?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because... Well, this is probably one reason. Because it sounds so fantastical, it's easy to put it into fictional things, you know? Like, I mean, like, Harry Potter is, like, our modern day, you know, most famous example of witchcraft in fantasy. But, I mean, there have been countless other stuff before. And, like I said, depending on how vaguely you want to define witchcraft, you know, this goes back, like, thousands and thousands of years of, like, well, even, I mean, can you think of an example... Well, like, okay, Lord of the Rings also, that has some witchcraft. I mean, Gandalf is a wizard, so...
Technically, like Star Wars does, too, with the Force. They're feeling the Force energy, and they're using it to do things.
Well, yeah, I mean, he, did you know, like, he actually, like, that whole system is, like, derived from, like, several different religions.
Is it?
Yeah, but, like, Buddhism, like, energy and stuff in your body is, like, a big part of Buddhism. And then also, like, the master and apprentice, that's sort of like a disciple. That's sort of like Jesus disciple type of a dealio there. But yeah. So like, yeah, I'm sure there's countless of examples that I just can't think of like witchcraftily type stuff being fictionalized about. I mean, it's really ripe for creative minds, you know, to play around with.
But what about? Let's say that one of the witchcrafty religions, like paganism or Wicca or something, was actually like the premier and most popular religion in North America. And let's say Christianity was at the level that witchcraft and Wicca and pagan stuff is now. Would we have the same ideas? Would we just think that God and Jesus and all that was just fantasy?
Like pagan? Like weird, like there would be like weird cults and stuff.
I mean,
surrounding Christianity. Well, there already is weird cults surrounding Christianity as is. So, I guess it would be. I guess it would just be flipped. I guess.
Yeah, would it? So the idea.
Well, see. Oh, okay, so that's the thing, because like, well, if you're just talking about North America.
Okay, the whole Western world.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, if we're talking about the Western world, paganism and this witchcraftly stuff is often seen as demonic. It's associated with that. And so because we're predominantly, I mean, there's a lot of Christians, or at least in the past, you know, Christian thinking has dominated politics and pretty much society in North America. I think that is what kind of created the secludedness of that, those ideas.
Because they think it's evil.
Right, because it's associated with...
So if it was flipped, though, it wouldn't necessarily, because, I mean, there are Christian witches, right?
I don't know, I mean, it depends, yeah, but... Yeah, I mean,
there are, like... gotta be.
There's, like, faith healers.
Right.
You know?
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about, Benny Hinn, or whatever his name is, right? Who's, like...
Yeah, like, doing the thing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, Christians who also believe that they can... do these other spiritual practices that aren't in the Bible, and like the money spell or something like that, or they believe in positive energy and stuff like that.
I don't know of anything like that, but I mean,
I'm pretty sure those exist.
Yeah, I'm sure somewhere. I'm not sure how widespread it is.
Well, I mean, there are people who just consider themselves spiritual, and they don't like associate with necessarily one religion. They believe in a god and a devil and stuff. And so they believe, like, a little bit of Christianity, but then they also believe in...
like spirits and
witchcraft and stuff. And they play with Ouija boards and all that
stuff. Yeah. So what are you saying? If it was flipped, then we would...
What I'm saying is, the whole reason that it's considered fantasy is because we think it's ridiculous. But, like, your argument was... that witchcraft is seen as evil because Christian was the prominent thing in the Western world.
Yeah.
But that's not a very good argument, because if it was seen as evil and demonic and stuff, then it necessarily wouldn't be turned into fantasy. It would, like, people wouldn't want to put the stuff that's considered evil and demonic in, like, their kids shows and books and stuff. It wouldn't be considered fantasy if they actually thought it was evil.
Right. So there's, I would say probably in the last like 50 years, there's like a new generation of people that just see it as like purely fantasy. Like,
Same thing with like other religions though too, like Christianity. There are people that are born and live their life and they're like, huh, you believe that fairy tale?
what referring to what?
Referring to Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying there's like a whole generations of Americans that grew up, Christian or Christian-ish, but the witchcraft and witches and stuff like that was just only they only saw that in the context of like a Harry Potter or like a Merlin the wizard or whatever,
Right.
and stuff like that. And so they only associated with like, fantasy and fiction.
Right.
And they don't associate it with like, cults or demonic stuff happening.
That's fair. Could it also be considered people just claim it as fantasy because
King Arthur. That's the story with right?
Yes.
The Sword and the Stone, the animated Disney movie, has Merlin, a wizard, in it. And he's just like a regular guy. It was like just like his thing. Oh, it's Merlin. Oh yeah, he's a magician or whatever.
What was that relevant to?
That's an older example of a
Okay.
fantasized version of witchcraft.
Right. Could one of the reasons that it's considered fantasy be because, as we were saying earlier, where in the olden days, if a new technology arose or something and people didn't understand it, then they would consider it magic. Like they would consider, like if they saw computers today or something, they would consider it sorcery. Is that one of the reasons why witchcraft is considered fantasy today? Because like we can explain everything that we do, because we've advanced so far in our science and technology and stuff that we can explain a large percentage of everything we do.
Well, people have been able to explain what they do for like a long time.
Right.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Not like we're more educated, is the point.
Yeah.
In the olden days, if some new technology or something came out, people wouldn't understand how it works, and they wouldn't be educated because education wasn't as widespread, and so therefore they would just see it as like magic or something.
Right. And then, so...
But I guess this argument... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, what is that idea associated with?
I guess, the more I'm thinking about it, I guess it's a poor concept because people... I guess it's the same argument as with Christianity. It's like, now that we have the science to explain the world around us, we don't need a God to create it. And now that we understand the technology and are educated enough to understand the technology around us, we don't need magic to explain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so maybe that's why it's considered fantasy?
I'd say that's probably the best argument, yeah. That's probably the biggest reason.
Okay, same question related to that. If something is too complex to understand, some people might call it sorcery or witchcraft. It's just fair.
Yeah.
It's fair?
Sure, why not?
You're gonna have to explain that one.
Why it's fair?
Yeah, to say, I don't understand why this light works right here. Oh, I looked directly at that. I don't understand why this light works right here. Is it witchcraft? I mean, it's sorcery or something.
Is it fair? Yeah.
Like, is it reasonable?
Is it reasonable?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, yeah. Like as humans, we need to explain things to ourselves. And so if we don't have an answer, then we need one, even if it's no matter what, basically.
Right.
So yeah, if you can't find out or find anyone to tell you how this light works, then yeah, you're just going to call it magic because that's the only answer that you have at the time.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like... If it's the only answer you have at the time, that's okay, but I don't think it's necessarily reasonable to just be like, oh, that's magic and just leave it alone. I think you should figure out how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, for like most of history, that just is not an option.
Figuring out how something works?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how we get new technology.
Like a hurricane. You know what I mean? Like that's just not. That would just not be feasible.
Right, which is why people equate natural disasters to gods or religion and stuff like that.
Right. But just there's all kinds of random stuff that people could mistake for witchcraft. That's just totally impossible for them to like test out and
Yeah.
with the knowledge that they had. So yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay. Next part. A lot of what witches do is they test things out expecting a result. Like necromancy, they want to summon a spirit from their past loved one or whatever. And they test these things out that other people say work. And then they see it happen in usually physically or in a mental thing. So the question here is, how much of witchcraft is actually just confirmation bias because they want it to happen?
Yeah, the best witches are the ones that they can do things that but that only you can perceive though.
Right.
Because that's really the only way to do it.
What do you mean? Explain.
I'm just saying if they're trying to summon the spirit of somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and they fill the room with fog or whatever.
Right.
And then you see the silhouette of your loved one in the fog or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, well, I mean, if you think you saw it, cool. It's not like we can just recreate,
Exactly.
No one can go in there and test that, you know what I mean?
I was reading
We can't check your memories and see what you were looking at.
Exactly. I was reading this thing on necromancy, and specifically when people summon spirits and stuff. It was saying sometimes the witch, the one casting the spell, will see the person in their mind. Sometimes you won't even see it, you'll just feel it, and other times other witches will have the spirit physically appear and be physically in the room.
See, yeah, if you're a witch and you can get the other person to feel the presence of their loved one,
mm-hmm.
that's foolproof. You know what I mean?
Not really, but
if you get the person,
mm-hmm.
your subject or whatever, to be oh yeah, I really felt mom and dad.
As
right
an
next to me.
occupational standpoint, that's fair. Yeah.
That, then that's solid. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're golden. Mission accomplished.
But what I'm saying here is that what I think is the witches who just see them in their mind or just feel them, they're not necessarily actually doing anything. They're just confirmation bias.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
While the ones who can make the person physically appear, which supposedly happens, those are the real witches. Those are the ones actually doing stuff. They're not just confirmation biasing. Because if they can make it physically appear, then you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they can prove it.
Well, why haven't they?
I mean, I think because there would be so many fake ones, right? There's so many ones that are oh, you would feel the presence or see it in your mind or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with Christianity. People who claim they see angels or whatever, and it's some people have it in their mind or they feel it or whatever, and some people have physical manifestations apparently.
But only for themselves though.
That's the thing, same with Christianity, you can't really prove the physical thing happening because it's difficult to recreate.
Right.
So it's
impossible.
That's what witches try to do, is they recreate the scenarios. That's why there's you can go through these, you follow these steps and stuff, grind this up in this, put it in this, and do this, light this, walk to the east, face the west, do all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to really know is if we have to try a spell.
I just did, dude. I made you laugh. Okay, let's get some Necronomicon in here or something.
I mean, that's the only way, because you're saying that people are claiming that this is true, this happens.
Right. So you have to, in order to be unbiased, you have to test it for yourself. You have to put it to the test.
Or, why hasn't like a camera crew, like a documentary film crew, just gone out with these witches?
I'm pretty sure they have, and it's just not ever accepted because it's like, oh, that's on a camera. There's so many video editing tricks they can do.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so yeah, we have to try it.
Yeah. Well,
so you're saying nobody? So you're saying basically what the conclusion that we can only draw from this is that like you can't disbelieve in witchcraft unless you actually tried it.
So it's very much so like a religion, which is something I actually wanted to bring up is why are we talking about witchcraft, but we're not going to do episodes on other religions specifically? Like, we're not going to do an episode on Christianity.
What about it?
What do you mean? What about it?
What would...
Like, right now we're doing an episode on witchcraft.
Yeah, is it real?
But why are we doing an episode on witchcraft when we don't do it on other religions?
Well, you said it wasn't a religion.
Well, that's the thing. Right now what we're talking about is how you have to test it. We're basically saying it's exactly like a religion where you have to test these things and have spiritual experiences.
Like, most religious people will tell you that like you can't test out their religion. You just have to actually believe it. And then it happens. But
that's
with you,
true. That's true.
But with witchcraft,
with me specifically.
But with witchcraft, you can get the cookbook.
The cookbook,
or the recipe. Get the recipe.
A witchcraft for dummies.
Get the formula. And I mean, I've never talked to a witch about this, but it doesn't necessitate you believing in it.
I guess it doesn't. Yeah.
Like it just like these X plus Y, equals Z or whatever.
Okay, but the problem with, you would have to test not psychic stuff. Because from my experience, psychics, I've seen threads on Reddit. Yeah, I'm a Redditor, guys, sorry. I've seen threads on Reddit where people talk, like actual witches or whatever get on there and are talking, or actual psychics, and are talking about like, this is what I do, and I understand that 99% of everyone else in my business is just like a motivational speaker and telling you what you want to hear. And there's some that really believe that they can read minds and stuff and feel people's energies and all that kind of stuff.
Can they?
That's the thing. They're straight up saying like 99% of these people are just like making up this crap. Yeah. And so the issue there is like, as far as I'm concerned, if 99% of them are, I'm making up that statistic of 99%, but you get what I'm saying. If 99% of them are crap, then I'm not going to believe the 1%. Like, I've had people read my palm and stuff before and tell me things. But
what did they tell you?
Something about a girl or something. And
did it come true? Did they say you were going to be a vegetarian?
This was only like a couple months ago. It was on Halloween.
Oh, after you'd already become a vegetarian.
It's not relevant. They said something about, there's a girl in my life with dark brown hair or something. Ladies. But,
What about your sister?
No,
has dark brown hair.
The first thing she said was, you have a girlfriend. And I was like, nope. I instantly shut her down. I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, hang on. In your future. And she kept... See, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not making fun of her. Like, if she really believes that, sure, go ahead, do whatever. But I'm not going to believe it because I know that 90% or whatever is...
You shouldn't have said no. You should just let her keep going.
I probably should have, yeah.
And then just see where it went. Like, oh, you've got a girlfriend. Y'all gonna get married soon. You're gonna have a kid. You don't have a girlfriend.
Well, I don't know if, she actually would have kept... I should have kept doing that. But, I mean, you can go to, what's that place? The festival? The Renaissance Festival?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go there and there's, like, fortune tellers and stuff there. And you can get your palm read and they can do psychic stuff.
Dude, there's a psychic medium, like, right down the street.
You want to go with this camera and, like, test it out?
To film her telling us our future?
Yeah. Dude, that would be interesting to go there and see if she tells me, like, the same thing the other one told me. See if there's any consistency there. The thing is, you have something in your tooth, by the way. Or
Probably
maybe it's
some
just
berries.
a cavity or something.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah, probably. But so when we're testing it, you can't test psychics as far as I'm concerned because that's all mental and that cannot be proven at all. And if something does come up with a psychic, you know that statement of magic is often mistaken for a coincidence. Well, it's like no, coincidences are often mistaken for magic as far as I'm concerned when it comes to that, right?
Yeah.
So you can't test psychic stuff. You would have to actually test like necromancy or casting a fireball or something. Which, by the way, I looked into. People don't actually do that. That's sad. Okay.
Oh, that would be the one I would want to test out.
Yeah, I know. Like,
is there any just like
when you think of witchcraft, you think of like, oh, Elsa from Frozen. But no.
That's not what I think of. She's more of like a mutant to me.
She is a mutant, but
because she was just born that way. Yeah. Right? Was she born that way?
I think so. Yeah. But like casting fireballs and stuff. But we can't actually apparently do that. But apparently curses and stuff are real, though. Is
there any... What about blessings?
I mean...
Can you cast, like... Can you make me more appealing to women?
I mean, you're already, 100% appealing, so...
But can you make me, more than 100%?
I mean, I can't. There's no... Do you know how percentages work? I mean, 100% is,
Yeah, but we're talking about witchcraft here. The regular rules don't apply.
Okay.
With witchcraft,
let's just
200%
let's just assume a little bit that you lost the goatee and you're only 95% attractive right now.
Okay. could you cast a spell that would fill that gap at 1%?
That would make your goatee grow, maybe.
Oh, see, was that a coincidence?
No, it's a physical thing that's happening. See, that's where the blessing is. It's a physical thing that's happening that reaches you those extra 5%. So, is it a coincidence? I don't know. It's the same thing in, Christianity or something. People say, bless you, or whatever. And it's well... It's well...
Well, they're casting a spell on you, dude.
But there's also,
It's a blessing. Oh, it's like they're casting a reverse curse on you.
That's the thing, I think curses are pretty widely accepted as, out of all the things that witches do, aren't curses, the more accepted one to be true?
They're probably more... They probably get more requests for those.
To curse someone?
Yeah.
I don't
think about it. If you're a witch by profession, who would you need to curse?
Well, if someone
witch competition.
Well, in the media and stuff, there's always on TV shows, they're always oh, you pissed off this witch and now she's getting... Can I say that? Are we gonna have to bleep that? This is a children's show.
This is a family show. We're talking about witchcraft here.
And they're gonna have to curse you or whatever. But I don't know if that actually happens in real life. We really should have just I mean, okay, our convictions probably tell us not to go and test this, right? Because
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you believe that it's demonic, right?
Well, as we said, it's not necessarily even religious at all.
It's true.
So should we go test this? We should go to a psychic and have them read your palm again. See if it's the same thing.
I wonder if
you have to repeat it exactly the same. It has to be exactly the same.
I should go to the same psychic and see if she gives me the same answer, if she remembers me.
Oh, put your hair in a ponytail.
No, I had my hair in a ponytail at the time.
There's a way to explain, when you're talking about the future, there's a way to, you can explain away all of this.
Kind of.
Then if you say, pull your hair down, it's I'm the same guy.
Right.
Then it's your future has changed.
That's the thing. If they can actually, oh, you're talking about, time travel and stuff, now that I've pulled my hair down?
No, I'm just saying, there's ways, you can explain around all of this stuff.
Right, because if I went there...
any contradictions?
The whole point of me going there would be to test if she remembered who I was through my energy or whatever, and she could... Or if she read my palm and was I've read this palm before and I'm seeing the same thing, right? Does that make sense?
Well, that would be very suggestive that she's the real deal, but if she says something different... And then, you reveal yourself. I'm the same guy. Gotcha. She's then she could just be oh, the spirits have shifted and your future is changing. Oh.
Well, then she's specifically full of crap. But
how?
What I'm saying is,
why?
Because she changed her opinion after I said something. Like, if it's true that on the inside of us we have this future, whatever, determined, and these witches can read it or whatever, then...
But what if she says that because you went to her, then you changed certain things?
Right,
and now going to her again...
That's where you're getting into time travel and stuff, where you can change the course. But if she was really able to read it, there's a set course, and she would know that I would have come back to her.
Huh, okay. So you're saying... it depends on how time travel works now.
Yeah, that's...
Man, that's going to be a cool episode when we talk about time travel.
That's why we're not, that's why I think we should just kind of throw, like, psychics and fortune telling out, because,
Because you can't
to me, yeah, that stuff just cannot be proven, and none of it is, like...
Well, okay, how long ago did you go to this? You said October, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so I say we wait another month, go back to this lady. You think she'll remember you? Was she doing a lot of palm readings that night?
She did at least 2.
How... Is it expensive? How much are these?
It was on Halloween, and I went to her house, and she was like, I'll do one.
Wait, is she...
I didn't even know she was psychic. I was out with friends trick-or-treating, and I go to her house, and she answers the door, and she's like, can I read your palm? And I'm like, sure.
Is she psychic by profession, or is it a hobby?
I have no idea. We didn't ask her. And then we had someone else get their palm read, too.
Well, if that's the case, then you might be the last person that she palm read.
No, because we had someone else get their palm read.
Well, I'm just saying, y'all might have been the last 2.
Right.
And then when you go back to her, she'll know exactly who you were. She's like, oh,
That's
you're the last
true.
person I palm read.
That's true. We'd have to, like, stalk her and figure out what she...
No, what you need to do is go to a career psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, 3 months later, go there again and see if your future is the same.
Okay. So we would have to put this to the test. Are we going to do a follow-up episode on this if we actually put it to the test?
Well, yeah, if you actually do that.
Okay. You have to come with, dude.
Oh, I'll come with you.
Okay. And we probably have to record it, too. For the show.
With my GoPro?
With your GoPro.
Okay.
So you'll have to GoPro for us.
Anything else?
There's a lot else, dude. We've spent a lot of time talking about this. Okay. We were talking about the psychics and stuff, how that needs to be thrown out. Now, what about things with spirits and manifestations like that and stuff? And you were talking about how it's demonic.
Well, you can only test it.
Why are Christians and stuff so, quote-unquote, they'll say, I'm not scared, I have no fear or whatever, but why are Christians stuff so scared, quote-unquote, of witches and palm readings and stuff like that? Like, why do Christians, like, we gotta pray this psychic out of our city or something like that?
I don't know. I mean...
I guess the actual question is witchcraft itself, like, demonic? Can it be proven that it has, like, evil tendencies or something?
Well, no, it can't be proven. But as we said earlier, witchcraft in and of itself isn't necessarily a religious practice.
Right.
So, yeah, it's not necessarily demonic, that would mean. You see what I'm saying?
Right. There we go. That's the answer I was looking for. Are miracles a form of witchcraft? Yes, we already established that. Right? You agree with that? Miracles.
Yeah. I mean, okay. if you want to define it that broadly, then yeah.
Let's see. Witchcraft and spells could easily be created by spirits, deities, or the laws of nature. We really have no explanation for either, for any of those 3. It could be any of those 3.
Well, if it is any one of those 3, then we wouldn't know which one it was.
Exactly. Are there people out there actually casting fireballs? Nope, apparently not.
Darn.
I'm really disappointed by that one.
Is there any sort of energy projections that because that would be... Like, maybe just, like, light, can I make my hands glow, or... maybe, like,
I don't know, dude, you'd have to look into it. I didn't look that deep.
Lasers or lightning, anything that resembles superpowers is what I would be down to try.
Most witchcraft stuff is, again, the reason people are skeptical about it is because it is stuff that can't just be like, you can be in public casting fireballs or whatever. Stuff that...
if it was possible, I would be
taken off as like coincidental or something like that.
A coincidental fireball thrower?
That's what I'm saying. That's why you can't have like light shooting from your hand or whatever and people accept it as, like that's why that's not witchcraft. Because witchcraft stuff tends to be like pretty 50-50 on whether you can believe it or not. Like if
Oh, I
I
see what
did
you're saying, I
this
see
and
what you're
light
saying.
physically emanated from my hand, you would be like, okay, this guy has some magic going on. Like you
Oh,
can
I
see.
I see.
It's not. It's like you have no doubt whatsoever.
Or maybe it's like witchcraft code, only do it if you really need to, and that's why, and every witch has stuck to it.
Maybe. I mean, but there are those like beginner witches and stuff who are the ones who like claim they can feel people. I was reading this thing again. I think it was on the Witchcraft Reddit where someone said, I can feel people's emotions around me. Like I can feel their energy or whatever. And please
I
forgive.
can feel that too.
Yes, please forgive me if you are a witch or something. But I'm just gonna say this. I can tell when people around me are sad or whatever too, right? Like you can see it on their face.
You're a witch.
But what I assume it was a she, was talking
Why?
about. I think she said something about her husband or something. What she was talking about.
Could be his husband.
That's true.
Could be a gay witch. That's
My
what
favorite kind.
that's a whole episode in of itself. Gay witchcraft.
That's what'll happen like 8 months down the road when we're out of episodes. We'll be like, gay witchcraft.
Just combine episodes.
We'll be wearing like rainbow witch hats and stuff. And,
Okay, so back to your point.
but what she was saying is she could physically feel like, I guess she said energy, but I think she meant like an electricity like going through her when she touched the person, like an electricity of sadness going to her heart or something. Is that like, what do you think of that?
Oh man, I can sometimes feel the emotions of doors when I touch the doorknob. It's like electricity. Like, and I can feel their pain. I guess it's the hinges, because all the weight is hinging on those hinges. And it's just like too much pressure, and like, I feel like, like the shock of, emotion.
I feel like we're supposed to be unbiased and we're just like crapping all over this. Okay, but real talk for a second. What about like preachers and stuff? When they say they're like walking around or whatever, and they stop mid preaching, they're like, someone in here recently had their parent die or something like that, and they're like, come up here for healing or prayer or whatever, and they call someone out like that. Are they actually feeling it, or are they just like lucky?
I have no idea. I mean, most of that stuff. I mean, if you got a crowd and you say, "Oh, your parents recently died," that's. You're playing the odds there. That's pretty good odds. Somebody's.
Okay, but sometimes they'll be like.
I mean, if it's something really specific, then it's like, whoa, maybe they are really. If it's
Right.
like, hey, 2 weeks ago somebody fell on your backside and you got a huge bruise on your left butt cheek.
It would even have to be more specific than that for me to be convinced.
Calling out which cheek they got bruised?
Because there are people who, first of all, you say butt cheek, so they don't have to prove it. They will go up there and they don't have to prove it.
Okay,
And then,
that's a good
there will
point.
people who go up there and they're like, oh, my thing's very similar to that. He was close enough. I'll go up there and get healed anyways. So it has to be very specific. It has to be like, there was someone recently who was in a car crash driving a red Chevy and it hit a white Toyota Camry, and the collision was like a T collision, and
Well, for me,
the
if they
passenger...
could pinpoint the injury, that'd be enough for me. I don't need to know like every detail of the accident that caused it.
Well, a butt cheek injury, I mean.
Okay, like-
let's say someone got like a cut on their arm in a very specific shape. Would that be good? Like, that would be really good evidence.
Yeah.
But what if it's just a cut down your arm, like this? Like, they walked past a nail or something on accident, it just went, or they like yanked their arm past a nail and they had like that. Like, is that good enough, or is it not because it's visible and the person could have seen it?
Okay, if somebody has a star-shaped burn from a cookie, a really hot cookie that fell...
Christmas cookies, guys, be
that
warned.
fell like right on the inside of your bicep.
Right.
Because a hot...
That would be good enough proof, though, because it's star. What if it's like right
Yeah.
here, and it's just a burn, and someone said you got burned on the inside of your bicep, so it's not visible, but you'd be willing to show it. Is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, that would make me think, like, wow, this guy knows things. Yeah, I would think so.
But that has happened before, so does that prove it? Like, that kind of stuff has happened before. Does that prove that people can feel it? Because then we have just proof right there.
I mean, not in the scientific sense of proof, but yeah, I'd say that's proof of some kind.
What do you mean, like, what's the difference between the proof and the scientific proof?
Well, like, scientific proof has to be repeatable, so you can't...
Right.
I mean, you can't necessarily just, like, say, like, hey, preacher, man, you know, walk into this grocery store and tell me the cashier's illnesses or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like... because it's like a religious thing, you know, it's like up to God when all this stuff happens.
Right, so. And it's like you don't put the Lord your God to the test or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like scientific proof in the sense that you can repeat it, but it is some kind of. I would say it's some kind.
What
of
if
proof.
it happens multiple times though for different injuries and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I mean, it's okay proof, but it's not like solid proof because there's still the thing of like, if you're in a church or whatever. You hear people talking, like someone could tell someone a story about it, and that person could tell someone else, that person could tell someone else, and it could get all the way to the past, and they could be like, oh, I felt this, or whatever. Actuality, maybe they think they're feeling it, but they actually heard it, but weren't paying attention to what they were hearing earlier, and their mind would tell them that later.
Or they did actually.
If they did actually hear it, then they're just full of crap, and they should not be preaching. But
right. That's another possibility too.
Yeah.
Or there was this movie with Steve Martin, where he's like a preacher, but like he has cameras everywhere.
Right.
And he has like people telling, they have like these nurses that are just like watching everybody to see visible signs of illnesses.
And that's
and then they just tell him. The movie, I forget what the plot of the movie was, but this was like...
Is it just trying to like prove that like preachers are...
Well, no, but this really happened in the 80s. Like, like preachers got busted for doing this.
Really?
Yeah. Or like, I mean, it's not, I guess it's not illegal per se, but they...
Yeah, it's not illegal, but
they got exposed doing this.
Makes your religion look real good, huh?
Yeah, so Steve Martin was in this movie where he had these guys, they could just like call into his earpiece and... you know, tell them what seat this person was sitting in, like, oh, this person's limping, they've got an ankle problem in their left ankle or whatever, you know, stuff like that.
Okay, so really it's not solid proof, and the feeling thing, I mean, I get your doorknob joke and stuff, but for people can...
What joke?
Shut up.
I can feel the emotions of doors. And other inanimate objects.
Other inanimate objects? Can you feel my emotions right now?
No, it's only non-living.
Can you feel the emotions of my phone?
Yes.
What is it feeling?
I have to really feel it. I've gotta...
You're not? Ew.
Yeah. It's pleased.
It's pleased? No, it's not. It's been worn out, dude. I've been using it this whole time with screen on.
It was pleased to be in your service, I feel.
Okay. Well, oh no. The point of that is like the feeling thing can't really be proven, and if you think that you're special for feeling someone else's emotions, I mean that's you're
good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
That was a good way to. Okay. Here's a good topic. What's the difference between witchcraft and show magicians?
Show magicians, I feel like
Penn and Teller or something.
Yeah, I feel like those guys aren't trying to pawn off their, they're not trying to sell themselves as.
Okay, Penn and Teller is a really bad example because they're known for proving or showing how their tricks are done.
Yeah,
and showing how other magic tricks are done. So pick anyone else like Houdini or something.
Yeah, well, Houdini was more of a like exhibitionist, but
I think that's what exhibitionist means. This is a kid's show, dude. Come on. Anyway.
I mean, he was an escape artist. That's what it was.
Right.
Like, he got out of stuff. That's not really magic.
It's very different, but continue.
Well, you know, he did things for the exhibit of it, you know.
Right.
But anyway, like a modern guy like David Blaine, or David Copperfield, or maybe another David who's a magician. I feel like those guys...
David Sandu.
They weren't trying to, pawn themselves off as like doing real magic. Like they
I
were
think,
like
David
showmen.
Blaine was or something, right?
No, like see,
Didn't he do like a lot of walking through wall crap?
David Copperfield did that.
Okay, well, they're both David. So one of them did walking through wall crap.
Yeah, David Blaine does a bunch of like stunts where like he'll like freeze himself in ice for like 3 days or something like that, or like be underwater for like a week or whatever. But yeah, those guys they're like they do magic. They're more of illusionists, but I feel like the difference between them is like one of them isn't trying to pass themselves off as like being a real wizard,
right?
Or practicing real witchcraft, whereas like
they
some
sort
them
of are. There's a reason they don't tell us how they did it.
Yeah, I mean it's for the illusion, like so you can feel the sense of wonder. But like, I don't think anyone honestly believes that they're real wizards.
That's because over time it's evolved. I think way back when, actual witches and those were one and the same, and then over time people became like, oh, the ones trying to cast spells and stuff are crazy. These ones that are walking through walls or having their heads separated from their legs are just, they can prove how they're doing it.
Have you ever seen The Prestige?
Is that movie with
Christian Bale and
Okay, no, I haven't.
Hugh Jackman?
I have not seen it.
No, it's a good movie, but in that movie takes place in the 1800s, and like magic shows are like something that like everyone goes to, or like richer people go to see, and like some people are like, oh man, that is, some people actually think it's real, but a lot of people are just like trying to find the trick or whatever to it.
Right. And so
I think the difference is a wizard or somebody practicing witchcraft, the difference is that they will maintain that they are actually in touch with some kind of supernatural force.
Right.
Or they're doing something supernatural. They'll maintain that no matter what. Whereas an illusionist, like, if you just see them in a bar, they're not going to like...
Be like,
try to cast
I'll put a spell on you.
Yeah, they're not like going to try to cast a spell on you if you just
Yeah.
like, see them on the street, afterwards.
Right.
Or whatever, yeah.
Right. Okay, that's a good answer. So the difference is they do not believe that they are witches.
Yeah, they don't actually believe.
They don't believe in supernatural powers giving them what they're doing.
Right.
They're just doing tricks and stuff. That's a good answer.
Yeah, and I like card tricks. I used to be really into like card tricks. And stuff.
Weren't you gonna do a card trick on me on air or something?
I mentioned it to you, but then I forgot, and I just remembered just now.
What was the trick?
It was gonna be where like you pick a card, and then like I put it in the center of the deck, and then like I make it pop up to the top.
So that's the one where you have like the 3 rows and stuff.
No.
Okay.
You just pick a card, and then you put it back into the center.
Right.
And like I snap my finger, and then it pops up to the top card.
So you're actually just doing sleight of hand?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm doing real magic.
Next one is witchcraft evil. We've established that no, it's not.
Well, not necessarily. It could be though.
Yeah, Christianity could be evil though too.
Could it?
Yeah. If Islam is the correct religion, then Christianity is evil, right?
Yeah. Well, only if you're Islamic, then it's evil.
Right. It's the same thing with the witches thing. It's very
Well, yeah. I guess it's just like it's like. That's a whole other thing.
Go ahead. I mean.
No, it's just like there's like.
There's no objective evil. Is that? I mean.
Yeah. Well, there could be.
But we don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, the irony of, like, 2 religious people trying to convert each other is that they both actually have the same stance. That, like, it would be a sin to do what the other person is telling them to do.
That's just like the conviction thing we're talking about in bias, where it would be wrong for the murderer to change his convictions of wanting to murder people. But it's the Christian's job to try to convert him, even though he knows that it would be wrong for the murderer to change his convictions.
If they believe that's morally right.
Yes, yeah. There are witches who worship the devil, but not necessarily all of them do. Yeah.
We talked at length about that.
We did? I'm just going through everything. Do psychics actually have any ability, or do they just tell you generic things that would fit any person?
Now, psychics, do they read your mind or read the future?
Kind of both, right?
I don't know.
Well, let's talk about both.
Okay. Well, yeah, if someone says that they can tell your future, that is, to me, is like the biggest load of BS ever.
Okay.
I feel
Why
like,
though? Why?
Well, see, because there's no way to, they could literally say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're alive,
it could technically still happen.
it could still happen. Okay. Yeah.
Unless they say something like, by the end of the year, you'll have met your wife or whatever.
Yeah,
well, okay, that's really generic too, because you meet people all the time. By the end of the year, you will have married a girl. If they say something like that, then it can be proven.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a limited time stance, then what they're saying is not necessarily bullcrap. Because it would be very bold of them to say by the end of the year, you have gotten married. And then if you don't, you go back to them, and then and then you see what they say in order to find out.
Explain away the fact that they were wrong.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, oh, yes.
And if you do actually find the person and get married, you go back and she'd be like, "See, I told you," but you can just be like, "Well, that could have just been a coincidence." Because it's confirmation bias. Because it's the same thing with believing in God and stuff. If these miracles, if you pray for something and this thing happens, you consider a miracle or whatever, but it could just be a coincidence that it happened, and if it didn't happen, then you wouldn't want to blame the psychic or the god or whatever, because you couldn't, and they would just change their stance, and you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it depends on, if it's a supernatural type of a healing. We talked about this.
Yeah.
If it's a headache that just goes away, that could have been, just immune system. But if it's you don't have a limb and you grow a limb, well then that's a straight up miracle.
But there could be laws that we also talked about. There could be supernatural laws that allowed for your limb to grow at that point in time.
Yeah, but as far as we know, that would be a miracle.
It would be literally the definition of a miracle, but it would not necessarily be done by the Christian God.
Right.
Okay. So really, I mean, there's no way to tell if psychics are actually telling you anything true or not, or if they're just telling generic things to people that they judge based on looks. Apparently, there are some ones that really, really believe what they're telling people is correct, and there are ones who really believe it, and what they're telling people is they're actually just full of crap, and they believe it because they want to have a purpose when they don't. Ooh, is that bad for me to say? It's pretty bad for me to say, huh?
Not if it's true.
Okay.
But if it's false, then yeah, you're a terrible person.
I am a terrible person.
Anything else?
Are some psychics legitimately able to read minds, palms, / whatever? We can't really prove it, right?
Wait, let me try it. Can I read your mind? Can I see if I can read your mind?
Sure.
Okay. Are you wondering whether or not I can really read your mind?
I'm not.
Okay. Think of an inanimate object.
Okay.
Like a physical object.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is it pizza?
Nope.
Ah, I can't read minds. Darn.
Can I read your mind?
Sure.
I don't need to put my hand on you. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Wait, do I think of an inanimate object?
Yes, think of an inanimate object.
Okay, let me... Okay, I'm thinking of one.
Is it a book?
No.
Okay.
It was a toy.
What kind of toy?
Oh, it was that statuette of Angel that broke. I knocked that thing over.
Oh, that was part of our set, I think, wasn't it? Wasn't it right there? Oh wait,
no, that one's right there.
That's a huge one. Okay, so we're not physically able to do it, but some people might be able to. And there's no way to really prove it. There's no way to actually prove it. Some of them you can put to the test, but because we can't put all of them to the test, there's no way to prove it, and they could actually have some supernatural abilities.
Okay, here's how you could prove it.
Mm-hmm.
You blindfold the supposed mind reader, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have them touch the mind of somebody in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like so. Now the mind reader's blindfolded, but then you have the person whose mind is being read, they look at an object, like let's say an apple,
mm-hmm.
and then you have the mind reader see if they can tell what that person is looking at.
Right.
Foolproof test.
Um,
And then it's repeatable. You can just
yeah, but you can't test all of... What I'm saying is there's so many that you can't test all the people that claim to be witches and can do that.
Why not? There's a finite amount of them.
Yes, there is, but that finite amount is very large.
So
And there's
why is it impossible?
Can we just like create a record on the internet like this one on 21st Street is not legit?
Yes.
This one on 23rd Street is not legit.
Yeah,
this one
and if
out in North Dakota out in the fields is not legit.
And then if they don't want to subject themselves to the test, then you just put them on the not real list.
That okay, yeah, but I mean that's absurd, but technically someone could do that.
Yeah, why not? It's totally possible.
I would like to believe that there are some who definitely can do it though, but
well, I would like to believe that too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but it's just like liking to believe in Christianity. Like because I believe, like you believe that there's a God or stuff, so you believe that there's supernatural things, right?
Yeah.
So then therefore you can probably believe that witches can do some demonic things with demons and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
So you can believe that, other people necessarily can't. And so that's where it becomes just like, it's just like the question of believing in God or not. You're believing in supernatural things or not. Right?
Yeah, but mind reading is testable though.
Mind reading specifically is yes.
Yeah, okay.
But you physically cannot test everyone on the planet.
I could.
You don't have the money.
So?
What I'm saying is you can't. If we got someone like Bill Gates, he could go and test everyone, yes.
Yeah, but
You specifically can't.
why couldn't I become Bill Gates in the future?
I mean, you could, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the way. I mean, this YouTube channel's about to blow up. So.
It is. And, I mean, 100% handsome, too, so...
Alright, is that the last point?
It's not, dude. Let's see. Okay, I went through that one. Went through that one. Went through that one. Casting spells acts just like making dinner. You combine things, follow instructions, and physical things happen. The issue is when non-physical things, such as a spirit appearing that only you can see, start to happen. So the non-physical stuff cannot be proven at all, and we just throw it out the window.
What if you cast a spell that someone's gonna die and then they do?
That's just coincidence. Like
Could be the spell working.
it could be the spell, but it could also. It's the same thing with curses. Like people are like, I put a curse in you. You're gonna be poor in the next 20 days or whatever, and then somehow your employer fires you.
So
it
that's
could be
pretty much
coincidence.
proof.
It's not proof, but it's kind of 50-50 again. That's going to be the answer to every question we ask on here. It's 50-50.
And this is the end of every episode.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Yeah, we can't prove it, so there is no answer.
I wanted to get into this. Is a Ouija board witchcraft? Is it different from casting a spell, or is it just a game?
I don't know how that... Well, it is a board game. They sell it like at Walmart.
It is a game, but it does... Is it just mental tricks, or
it's just everyone puts their hand on it, right? And then they...
Right, but you're supposed to have your eyes closed, and then and when you stop...
Well, who reads the thing then?
I think when you stop, you open your eyes or something. I've never actually done it.
Yeah, I don't even know the rules. But there is a movie about it, so maybe we should watch that.
Maybe. We should report back on Witchcraft Part. We actually probably should watch that and go to a psychic and come to Witchcraft Part 2. That might actually have to be a thing. This podcast is becoming a lot of work.
Yeah, golly. I like it when we just talk about stuff that we don't know.
I mean, I kind of like putting it to the test. I mean, we're casual, but I would like the...
Yeah, that would be cool if there is something like... Then we could say definitively, psychics are fake.
So we need to go buy a Ouija board.
Well, that's the same thing. How would you know if it's real?
Exactly.
You wouldn't.
But you can test it and like.
How would you test that?
Because neither of us has actually tried it, we need to test it and see what happens. That way, we need to determine based on experience.
Well, see, I don't know exactly how Ouija boards work. Is it supposed to tell you the future or what?
Usually, it just spells out things like.
So how do you test if it spells?
Like, it usually auto-spells out words and stuff, and will, like, auto-spell out a sentence, I think.
Oh, okay. So, how do they put a space in there?
I have no idea.
Like,
that's why we need to test this.
Okay.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is because, again, a lot of Christians and people and stuff think that it's demonic and very evil, and they would not even want a Ouija board in their house.
Is it?
That's what we're asking.
Is it demonic and evil?
I don't know. I'm willing to buy one and try it out if you want.
Let's do it.
Let's have a Ouija board party and just get the whole crew. The whole crew, me, you.
The whole TCO podcast crew.
Add some guests, Daniel Smith from the Josiah Sandu Casual Critics podcast.
Yes, which is on hiatus, but it'll be coming back very soon with a new co-host.
Me?
You want to do it?
I don't know. I think the original idea for this podcast came around because I joked about doing it. I don't know enough about movies, guys.
Oh, yeah. Then we were like, oh, let's start our own podcast. And they're like, oh, what will we do it about?
Right. Yeah. Can people be witchcraft, or can people be witches or do witchcraft just as a hobby, or is it something far more serious? I think people can just do it as a hobby, right? Because we don't have any proof that it's something like serious and demonic. Like, we don't have any proof that they're actually altering time-space by creating magic and fireballs or whatever, although they can't create
Golly, stop getting me all excited about fireballs when you already told me they weren't real.
Dude, I should have brought like a bag of the candy fireballs and been like throw it at you and like cast a fireball.
So you can throw fireballs.
That's true, but you cannot cast a fireball.
That's what I want to do.
So, can people be witches or do they can just do it as a hobby, right? And I think a lot of people do. I think there are people who do it and we just don't know. Because there are people who believe some witchy spiritual stuff and you don't find out about it because they're like ashamed of it and stuff because it's not accepted in public, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's same with like Christianity and stuff. Like, if I meet someone, the first thing I don't go is like, hey, I believe in God. How are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not relevant at the time. So they try to hide it if they're ashamed of it. But they might not necessarily be ashamed of it. But the loud and proud ones are the ones you got to be worried about. Because if they're loud and proud, then they might be full of crap.
Or not.
Are some forms of witchcraft more reasonable? Psychics, necromancy, casting fireballs, illusions. Yes, we discussed this. Psychics are probably the least reasonable of all, right? Casting fireballs can't happen, so it's unfortunately also the least reasonable. Illusions and necromancy, however, I think are the most reasonable.
Well, illusions are not witchcraft, right?
Sort of. I mean, you can create like an illusion of a spirit, like making a spirit appear or something. I guess that's just part of necromancy.
Yeah.
But making something appear, like the burning bush, making the bush appear to be on fire, that's an illusion.
But it actually was on fire.
Or was it?
I don't know. Maybe the Old Testament is just stories and none of that actually happened.
The answer to that question is yes, right? Some seem more reasonable than others?
Yes.
Which ones do you think are the most reasonable?
I mean, any one of them could be. I mean, like, obviously the most reasonable would be the fireballs if that was real. But
if it was real, so that means it's the least reasonable, because it's not real.
Right. But, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's case by case.
So you don't think that some are more reasonable than others? Because there is a good argument there of like that none of them can actually be proven like very well.
Well,
so therefore,
if someone's predicting my future, that can be proven.
Sort of, or it could just be a coincidence.
It could be, but it is testable. You can test what they say against what actually happens.
That's true.
So you've got something there.
Right.
And with necromancy, obviously, if a spirit appears in front of you, well then, they just summon a spirit.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's what I'm thinking is like, because I mean necromancy, we should probably hire a necromancer too.
That's what I'm most interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be a spirit of a person?
That's why it's called necromancy. It's like summoning back dead people.
Oh, they have to be dead?
Like old relatives or something.
Like my dad?
Whoa.
He's dead. Let's call him up.
Let's do it.
See how he's doing.
What's up, Mr. Sandu?
Yo, Dad. What's going on?
I mean, yeah, we could do that.
How did you die? We haven't got the autopsy report back. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. It's been several months now.
Well, yeah. So we could hire a necromancer, but it's probably the ones that charge more are the legit ones, right? I know.
Darn. Or they have the best projectors.
Yeah, it's true. They could have like part of their like little candles or something actually have a projector in it. Yeah.
Well, to get a 3D image, you need like
smoke
multiple
and stuff.
ones.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, answer that. Do you think some are more reasonable?
Yeah, case by case.
Okay, I think some are more reasonable.
Okay.
Is witchcraft a problem if people are using it as a substitute for medical practices? What about healing miracles?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess it's a big problem.
So it's a problem?
It depends on what you're trying to heal, I guess.
Right.
I mean, if you've got like an incurable disease, I mean, go for it. Go ahead. Why not?
I guess, yeah. But I mean, you also should be going to the doctor and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's how you found out you had an incurable disease.
You're right, but you should also be going to the doctor and getting as much help as you can.
Well, why? It's incurable.
You never watch House? They're like, there's incurable, but there's also, like, they can make you live as long as they can, they can give you stuff to make you live as long as possible.
I've never seen an episode of House.
There's a million episodes of House like that. But eventually you will die to it, but they can make your life as long as possible by giving you certain medicines and stuff. And so you shouldn't just stop going to the doctor. Like, there's news articles and stuff about this all the time where there's like Christian parents who like let their kid die or something because you know what I mean?
Man, take your kid to the hospital. Just do it.
There we go. We're not supposed to preach on this show, but take your kids to the hospital.
Yeah. Like whatever you were gonna do, just go ahead and do that on top of the hospital.
You're right, exactly. Now,
pray, cast your spells, whatever you want to do.
I think there's
just do it
on that too.
Just do it at the hospital.
But now here's the question: if their religion or witchcraft or whatever or their religious text or whatever, I guess, is telling them not to use scientific practices such as medicine, and telling them to use their religious stuff. Is that a problem? Should we allow that in society?
What?
This is hypothetical. This is hypothetical.
For kids, no.
So in society, we should be like, you're horrible parents, and take the kid away from the parents if the parents are doing that.
Like, yeah, if the kid like bleeding to death, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cancer, it's a slow bleed.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Right. So then it is a problem if it starts teaching that.
Well, I don't know of any religion that actually teaches that, except maybe...
That's hypothetical.
What's that one where they only use, like, old school tools and stuff?
Oh, Amish.
The Amish. But I think even... Do they...
I have no idea.
I don't know what their deal is, but apparently they're pretty healthy.
Maybe, I don't know.
From what I've heard.
I don't know their rules and stuff. Maybe we'll do an episode on Amish people.
We should.
We'd have to do it without a camera. Okay, so it is a problem if people substitute it for medical practices, but if they use it along with medical practices, there's no issue. Right?
Correct.
That's fair. The last thing I want to talk about is these witches talk about energy. They can feel the positive or negative energy within you. I'm a person who likes physics, and I can say, the heck kind of energy are you talking about? Because that's not what I'm...
Dude, it could be like string theory, other stuff happening that you don't know about.
So they're using the word energy when they're not necessarily referring to actual energy.
Yeah, it could be like, I mean, you actually know about dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't interact with regular matter, but our emotions could be moving those things around.
Our emotions could be moving matter around?
Dark matter.
Well, can't dark matter and regular matter like not touch? If they do, like things start exploding?
No,
crazy?
it actually does, like only like a very small percentage of like the dark matter. What are those things called? Oh, neutrinos, right?
I guess.
They pass through solid objects.
Right.
They pass through matter. Yeah, like that's how they prove that they exist, because like one in like every like trillion billion neutrinos will like turn like helium into hydrogen, or like chlorine into hydrogen, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how they prove that those exist. They got like this big pool of chlorine, and then like after like a week or something, like they extracted a certain amount of helium out of it. Like just from it sitting there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So when they refer to energy, though, what I'm saying is they're not referring to the physics energy. They're referring to something else that could physically be happening, though.
They could be referring to energy that we don't know how it operates yet.
Like, oh, you mean like there could be literal like electricity flowing through us, like?
There is electricity flowing through us.
No, but like one that's like positive or negative in the emotional sense, and not positive or negative in the atomic sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. That's very complicated, and that's getting into like emotions and stuff. Should probably be an episode on emotions.
Are they real?
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Everywhere. I guess that's the end of it. Oh boy.
Alright, that's another one in the bag.
Another one in the bag.
Thank you for spending this 90 minutes with us, if you are still with us.
You're probably not.
Probably not.
So we can probably say whatever we want.
Yeah.
We hate you.
Now, we hate you, please die.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim, First of the World.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what that song was from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, isn't that a dying fetus song or something? I don't know.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. You can find me on my other channel, JosiahSandu.com. Just kidding, it's youtube.com/Josiah_Sandu.
JosiahSandu.com. Nah, dude, it's gotta be like TV or something.
If you like movies, movies.
.move.
If you like movies, and you like me, then you can find both of those things at that other channel.
It's true.
Link in the description. Jacob?
If you like me, you can find me just here. This is the only place. That's about it.
Nice.
You can find us on SoundCloud, as we already mentioned. We'll put the episode there. Links in the description. And thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Oh, wait. If you have anything, if you are a witch and you have any comments on this, comment below.
Yeah, please tell us what's up.
Yeah, if you want to be a guest on the show and you're a witch, comment below. If you want to be a guest on the show and you're not a witch, you can't be a guest on the show. Like,
witches only.
If you want to be on the show, we will pick you if we want a guest on the show. We're not just gonna take random people, and there's a reason it's like me and Josiah, because we know each other and we know we can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But somebody might be an expert on a topic.
Right, we will bring in experts on the topic, but don't just be like, hey, I want to be on your show.
I'm a person. They're people.
You're expert.
We're just people.
We're not experts. Isn't that the whole point of the show? Is we're not experts.
We need a third casual observer.
We're already sit like right here.
How much more casual can we get than just a random person?
It's gonna be like a guy like leaning back with a seal.
Yes.
Well, we're point with it. Anyways, if you have any other comments, leave them below. We will reply to all of them.
Or suggestions for topics.
Yes, suggestions for topics are good. We have some good ones, but more topics are always welcome.
We're gonna run out eventually. If we don't get
in about like 15 episodes, we're gonna run out.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing some of these other ones that aren't, like we did Does God Exist, but we're trying not to, use all the good ones immediately. If that makes sense. I'm surprised we talked about this one for so long.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this was not that deep of a topic, but
I think we'll probably redo some episodes later. Maybe like a lot later.
Maybe, yeah. Or we'll do gay witches or something like that. Alright.
Or does gay God exist?
Does gay god exist? Gay god.
Or does a god that does witchcraft exist?
The gay god who does witchcraft is actually dating the gay flying spaghetti monster. And they're...
No, yeah, now we're really losing it. So that'll wrap it up for us. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.